Hey everybody, I'm Z Garcia, and today I'm taking a look at 3 solo-only games from Button Shy Publishing. These are going to be River Wild, A Nice Cuppa, and The Royal Limited. Let's dig in. In River Wild, you're going to be playing cards out, matching them, trying to build out the river, build out regions that contain various critters and various scoring conditions, trying to get the highest score possible. You're going to be getting points for building those regions, as well as scoring conditions that show up on some of those. And you have to be very careful with where you may and may not play a card. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at it down on the table. We'll come on back after that. To set up the game, you're going to place out this one card to be the beginning of the river. You are going to shuffle up the rest of the cards, and then you give yourself a hand of 3, and you are ready to begin. On your turn, you're going to place one of these, extending the river, forming new land masses possibly, or expanding them, and then drawing a new card into your hand. These are double-sided. They have the reverse of what you see on one side on the other side, so you can freely flip them over end and do the mirror image of what you see. So I might do something like this. You're allowed to put cards that match up exactly the ones above or are one off. You must always extend the river, so the rivers cannot do that. Though from the bottom of a mountain, you can have a new river appear there. So below a mountain, you can have the landmass or a river. So perhaps that'll be my first play, then I draw a new card, and then perhaps my next play here is this card. And you'll see I'm starting to build land masses, but I'm also trying to get combinations of scoring opportunities and the things that fulfill those opportunities. So in this area, once it's finished, if I can get 3 of these dragons, I'm going to get 3 or 6 victory points. The difference being I get the lower value for my largest landmass. So ideally, what you're really trying to do is create as many little islands as you can, because every island is worth 2 points anyway, and you'll see that right here at the top there. And I get a bunch of points, hopefully, that way. If I can balance those two things, then I will do well. There's all the scoring. Here you've got your rank at the end based on how well you did is kind of where you come in on that. So perhaps that'll be it. Then I draw a new card. I play again. So maybe I'll do something like this. Extend that, trying to get those dragons in there. I draw again. Look at that. I'm getting really lucky with these. That's going to be fantastic. So you also will see sometimes these little pillars in the water. Any islands next to that, you can treat this as one of anything towards the requirements for that location. And then, again, you keep drawing. Don't forget that you can be half off. So I could do with, let me find one here that works for me. With this one, I could do that. So you can also be one off on the cards, and still that'll count. As long as you're extending that river, that works out. So there you go. You go through all of the cards. At the end of the game, you're going to score points for all of the various categories, and hopefully you have a high enough score to not embarrass yourself. And that is River Wild. I tend to like puzzly games like this. I like the idea. I like the color palette here very much. This is one that I was really, really excited for. And I like the designer. Steven Aramini has been making neat games for a long time now. I just recently played a different game that he co-designed that I thought was fantastic. So I was very excited for this one. Unfortunately, I did not like it as much as I was hoping. In fact, I had some issues with it being very hard to see, very hard to grok how to manipulate the game in order to make it do what I wanted it to do. It reminded me of some other Button Shy games like Unsurmountable that let me, quote-unquote, play a little bit more. I was able to manipulate that game to get the results I was hoping. And it sort of feels the same way in many ways. It's, you know, you're playing the solitaire game, trying to figure out where this tile, really the cards sort of behave as tiles, where it should go to provide you scoring opportunities. In this one, I was more going for, where can I place this that isn't absolutely shooting me in the foot, right? Where can it just go? And then where can I go that sort of gives me something to score? Every island's worth a couple of points anyway, but you want to get some good scoring combos happening. And for me, it was much harder to see good play. And it's not one that upon continuing to play, that thing has grown. From what I understand, I'm not alone in this. I've read online that many people are having a hard time with this one, sort of seeing the puzzle. And I, unfortunately, was hoping to be able to avoid that, but I guess I'm falling into the same trap, where I'm having a hard time understanding how to get better, understanding how to just sort of manipulate the whole thing to give me a more robust experience. So it's one I want to like, but I cannot really recommend, especially when things like Unsurmountable and some of these other ones I'll be talking about are available. So River Wild from me is going to get a 5 out of 10. Unfortunately, that's a pass, and I'll have to stick with some other puzzly solitaire games. A Nice Cuppa here is a game about, making yourself a nice cuppa and managing some stresses in our everyday lives, things like traffic and technology, and we have to pay bills and sort of that thing. In it, you are going to be mechanically trying to arrange a line of cards, which are the steps to brew the cup and pour yourself the cup, trying to get them sorted from 1 to 7, and some problems that are going to be revealed and let you manipulate that. Let me just stop talking about it and show you how it works. To set up the game, you're going to shuffle up the T cards randomly and set them up here across the top with this face of the cards facing up. And then you're going to shuffle the worry cards and put one face down beneath each of those T cards. You're going to have a few left over. Just set them aside without looking at them, and you are ready to begin. The objective here is to try to get your T cards arranged sequentially so that you'll score as many victory points as possible. And you'll be doing that by flipping over and manipulating the lineup at the top with the worry cards across the bottom. Here's a turn reference as well as a scoring on the other side, a little scoring guide. So let me go ahead and show you how this works. We begin by flipping one face down worry card face up. If there are none that are still face down, then this is going to be the last round of the game. So we pick one, we flip it up. This is a worry about technology. Now that we've flipped one worry card face up, starting from the beginning, we're going to trigger every worry card in order. Right now it's only this technology card. It'll be more later on. This one happens to say choose a pair, swap it with any other single card. And a pair in this game is just 2 cards together, okay? So perhaps I'll switch these 2 cards with this card. And you just swap that. Everything else sort of falls in place. This is going to go here. This is going to go here. So that goes there. These are going to scoot over like so. Having done that, now I go to the next step in which I'm going to flip every T card that is above a face-up worry card. Right now it's just this one. This flips face down like that. And it goes from the focused side, which is this, to the distracted side. It indicates that I am distracted by technology in my life. That's the idea. And then having done that, I'm going to check now every face-up worry that is below a focused card goes away. In this case, that's not true. It's below a distracted card. And that is the end of my turn. And then finally, optionally, I can choose a pair of cards and swap them. They have to be adjacent to one another for me to swap them. So perhaps I could swap these 2, let's say. All right. Now, comes back to the top of the round. I pick another one of these and I flip it. So maybe I'll do this one. Finances. Okay. Finances says I go again from the beginning now. Choose a pair, move it to another spot in the line, and then after that I'll do this where I choose a pair and I swap it with any single card. And so this is what you're doing. You're trying to manipulate all of this stuff. If at the end of the turn, for the sake of clarity, it looked exactly like this, or well, before I flip, then this one's going to flip, this will flip, and this will flip, and these 2 will go away now because they're below cards that are focused. And those abilities obviously won't trigger anymore. Like I said, when you flip over the last one of these, You have that turn. If at the beginning of a turn you cannot flip one face up, you still trigger everything, and then you will check the line. So the line goes like this. Let me just manipulate a couple of things here. Let's say it looks like that for the sake of our example. It's going to look like that. Anything before the 1, and we're going to flip this over to check the scoring, anything before the 1 goes away. At the 1, you check that the numbers go up, and as soon as that doesn't happen, you get rid of that. So for example, if it looked like this, then we're good. This one's out of sequence, so it goes away, and now you're going to score for every focused card, you get 2 points. Every distracted one, you get 1 point. And then in a worry card, you still have, which I swiped away, but you would still have some. Each of those is -1. You're trying to get as high a score as possible. If you get 12, then that's as good as can be. And you also have a couple of different scoring ways where you can play casual difficulty or this ceremonial difficulty, which is very, very difficult. But 12 or more is normally perfect T, all the way down to 5 or less where you lose the game. And that is a nice cuppa. Well, I was having a hard time making the logical leap thematically for this one. I didn't think there was a real solid one-to-one there. I did like the game a lot, and I thought this was a really neat puzzle. There's some nice depth here that is not immediately apparent when you first play. I love, for example, the idea that when it's your turn to reveal a card, you can reveal one that's anywhere. So you have to ask yourself, and this sort of, again, dawned on me anyway the more I played, do I want something to happen before I'm forced to split these two, or after I'm forced to split these two? And I like that idea. I also love the idea that you can hopefully manipulate it so that these cards, these events, these manipulations go away when you're ready for them to go away. And if you manage to get all of that sort of, working together, all these little gears spinning the way you want them to, then you can get a good score. I like the scoring in this one too. I like the idea of a card being face up and focus being 2 points, face down it's 1. The problems are bad, so you want to get rid of them. It's quick, it's nice and punchy. Again, the theme, I thought, could have been anything. The steps to pouring a cup is cute, but I like the idea of, it's meant to be a relaxing game. This is meant to be kind of a cozy game. And from that point of view, yeah, I could see that working for a lot of people. I'm not sure it's going to be that to me, but that doesn't matter. I like the gameplay here. I think it's a solid little puzzle. It's punchy, it's quick. This is a good one. I enjoy it. Is it going to be different every time? Yeah, a little different, but it won't be, blowing the doors off with variability, right? But I don't care. It can go right here in my breast pocket or in a pocket, and it can pull it out. It's not going to be a table hog. You don't need a whole lot of room to play it. I enjoy this one. It's good. So a Nice Cuppa is going to get a 7 out of 10 from me. That is a seal of approval. It's one I recommend, especially, again, if you're on the current kick of sort of cozy games, then I think this is one you should look into, add to your repertoire as something to bring out lazy Saturday morning, put out on the table, sip something you're enjoying, and play a Nice Cuppa. The Royal Limited is all about being very efficient with the cards. You are trying to build out a train. You'll do that by putting train cards out. And you'll be putting passengers in each of those train cars, trying to run out the hand of cards and the deck of cards. Plus, you need to deal with a couple of VIP passengers that are a little bit trickier to accommodate. Let's go ahead and take a look at the game, and we'll come back. I'll tell you what I think of it. In the Royal Limited, you have 4 rounds in which to utilize as many cards as you can in order to build a train, put passengers in those places, and basically run out of cards entirely, because the best score you can get is actually a 0. And you'll be earning points for every card still in the deck, every card you're still holding in your hand, every VIP still here out of these 2, and then every empty train car, which you'll see in 1 second, in the center of the table. You're trying to have all those things be 0. You're going to pick 2 random VIPs. The rest can go away. Shuffle up the deck. And then this card here is going to track your 4 rounds in the game. And you do that by turning it like so. All right. So at the beginning, we shuffle this up. We draw 5 cards. And you will take actions until you have to pass. And then you click this down, draw a new hand, and continue. So here is how this is going to go. Every card in my hand is going to have a few pieces of information. I have a number, which is both the number on the train car and the passenger. They have a color as well. And then the train cars have an ability down here that triggers when a passenger is loaded onto that train car. Every one of them can only have 1 passenger, be it one of these passengers, which you load like that, or one of these VIP passengers that you load the same way. So you are going to, on your turn, do one of a few different things until you run out of the possibility of things to do. I can put out a new train car. To do that, I have to pay the number printed in the train car. I have to discard that many cards from my hands. If I want to put that out, then I have to discard any 3 of these cards I'm holding to the discard pile. You also have to make sure every train car cannot be placed in after a train car of the same number or the same color. This is perfectly fine. I may not play this one here because this is also yellow. And I could also not play this one here because this one is a 1. And it's following another 1. So that is what you are doing. As far as playing a passenger, let's have this train here. Well, a passenger has to match either the number or the color of the train car. And you don't pay anything else for it. So I would simply be able to do that. And then I have to trigger this ability, whether I want to or not. Some of them are bad for me. Some of them will be untimely, that sort of thing. But I have to do it. So as an example, let's say on my turn, I will put out a train car here, and I will discard a card to do that. I will then perhaps put out another train car like so. That one's free because it's a 0. And then maybe I will do, let's see, I perhaps will do this one where I do this. And then I have to trigger this ability, return the top card of the discard pile to your hand. That's good. And then I've got these, and maybe I'll put this passenger here, right? And then I have to do this. If the ability says next something something, it has to be my very next action, or I pass for the round, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pass. Anything I'm still holding, I discard. This ticks up once, and I draw 5 new cards from the deck. If I ever need to draw and there aren't any, I simply reshuffle. These 2 passengers I can load. They always will have a wild number and sometimes even a wild color. Like this one's just fully wild. It can go anywhere. These have to match the color. And then they have a condition that you have to satisfy. For example, P. Woodson here says, place between 2 odd-valued passengers. So I need to figure out a way to have that be the car, a train car that she goes into. That's the idea. You'll keep utilizing these, trying to smartly sequence the abilities at the bottom of the cards so that you can run out this hand, run out the deck and the discard, these people, and not have any train cars out there that are empty or that'll also penalize you. Try to get to 0 and you win the whole thing. The more I play the Royal Limited, the more that its depth sort of reveals itself to me. It's one that I did not like the scoring at first, and I still don't really love it, to be fair. But I've realized that the scoring really doesn't matter. I don't subscribe to the whole 0 perfect game, 2, 4+, you lost. I just decide on, once I'm done, I see what my number is, and I try to get a better, i.e. lower number. So the scoring I've chosen to ignore, for lack of a better term. The gameplay here is really where it's at, and this is a fantastic, punchy, puzzly, quick. I mean, it is so neat. And then you throw on top of that the theme with the train and the passengers and the VIPs, and it all works together really well. I really like the idea, and this concept is one that, again, sort of slowly dawned on me. Maybe I'm just bad at grasping these games, but you realize that playing a train out, train car, is going to cost you cards from your hands. You can put out the zeros for free. You want to put out a 3, it costs you 3 discards. That's most of your hand right there. But those ones that cost you 3, when you put a passenger in there, which is always free, have a tremendously beneficial power, and the zeros are bad for you when you load them up. And right there, you gotta deal with that. It's about the order in which you put them out. Which one do you, as soon as you put a passenger in there, you have to deal with the effect. There is so much going on in 14 cards or so. I mean, there's 18 cards in here, but you're not even dealing with all 18 in the same gameplay. So there's a lot happening. It is a sequencing game. In some ways, it's similar to a Nice Cuppa that way, right? They're both from Scott Alms, where you have to worry about sequencing things correctly. But I have to say, I like this one a bit better than I like a Nice Cuppa. It's, I don't know if I would say I like it as much as Unsurmountable. That's one of my favorite ones, again, from Scott Alms. But this one is in the upper echelon of games, I would say, upper echelon of games from Bud & Shy. Really like what it does. I like the look very much. I like the theme very much. And it is not an easy game in which to do well. So I recommend it if you want something that, for the amount of time you're going to be spending on playing, very much returns above its weight. Then the Royal Limited here is going to be what you're looking for. It's going to pay dividends, also investing the time to replay it and learn it very well. So 7.5 out of 10 from me. That is a seal of approval for the Royal Limited. And that's going to do it, folks, for these 3 reviews. Solo games in a wallet. What a world we live in, huh? Check these out if they spoke to you. If not, go check out some other ones from the Bud & Shy line. They've got tons of them. And that's going to do it. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Zeke Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. And you can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.